and move on. And for Johnny, you know, his family has been completely wrecked by all of this stuff, and it's not fair. It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected from this.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Hey there, how's it going? You know, the one thing, though, when we were young, when life was beautiful, that we didn't have to fix our problems? Amica cream. We didn't have our Amica cream. I mean, man, got ate by a shark? We just suffered. Got burned? Just suffered. Got hacked in half on our way to school because we were fighting with knights? We suffered. Now I'm glad things have changed. Thank you for my Amica cream. Babies. Oh, man, it has been a crazy, crazy day. Did you realize, by the way, you want to see how many videos that have been added to this file? I mean, this is nuts. So you can go and actually pull the video files that have been added. All right, I've been doing that for, it feels like a month of Sundays now, for real. I mean, it's crazy how many there are. I probably watched, I don't know, at least 40 videos so far, but look at this craziness. Okay, just so far in the trial, all right, for JD by himself. If you've been keeping up with the trial and you've been watching it live, you remember the one day when they added all the video footage? All right, if you go in and you look this up, look at this. All the videos. Oh, this is nuts, right? Hey, look, it's still going. Oh, Lord. There are a lot of videos that have been added. And these are mostly surveillance videos. A lot. I mean, the majority of them, they deal with the 21st of May or its aftermath. Now, for her, she's added things, too. Like for example, the first day they had a slide where they were talking to the sister. There was a text message in it that was added. That was the first day. That's all they added. Second day. Now what's funny is they plan on using a lot of the same videos, but look at the size. Like some of these are like almost impossible to download because they're so big. Like some of the videos are like 9 gigs or bigger. I mean, it's just nuts. And then you have a few other slides there. But out of those, there's some amazing items, amazing ones. Is she going to lose? Someone asked. You never know. It's really how it's all presented to the jury? Does she have a fair chance of losing? Yeah, she does, but you just never know what a jury will do. There's a couple of tapes, though, that I found in there that are amazing. They are amazing because they show a lot, let's just say. It's stuff that when we combine them with things like body cam footage, we now have a almost complete picture of what happened with the police. We don't have a first set of body cam footage, but we do have the police entering. We have the police leaving the first time. Then we have a second body cam. And when you start putting it all together, which I'm planning on doing, I've actually tried to introduce that to YouTube twice so far, too. Yeah, they don't seem to want you to do that, so I'm going to do it here. I'm going to show them here, and then I'll put it in a video as time permits. Hey, Mary Brewer, Creative Corner, thank you. Welcome there. Welcome, and thank you for the membership, and welcome to the Tuggernauts. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. God, there's a lot of stuff. On top of that, too, just to say, you have a few other things that are going on today that are kind of funny as well. I'm going to hit them while people are coming in. So you have some, you have the first taste of what's going to happen to Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Beasts, baby. The numbers for Fantastic Beasts are not good. If you look at the earnings and you compare them with the other movies, and let me see, Fantastic Beasts earnings. So we'll find out all of our weekend earnings now, but the early box office, oh, look at this. This is from 6 hours ago. I mean, I want to show you, like, again, all of this, it links up to the same thing. And then we're going to look at some body cam footage once everybody gets in. But the Fantastic Beasts box office, $43 million debut. I mean, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. When you look at the earlier movies, all right, you had a $74 million initial opening for the first movie. It ends up making about $812 million. Second movie, you have $62 million, and that was considered a disappointment for what they thought would happen. I mean, after all, this is a Harry Potter franchise movie. The movie, too, I would say would have been an even bigger disappointment had JD not been involved, and I don't say that lightly. I think that the movie was poorly written. The franchise, to me, it's not my franchise. It's not my cup of tea, you know. And then after all of the insanity that they've had JD mess, they've had Ezra Miller on top of that. When you add it all together, what you have is a trash fire of epic proportions that consumes a multi-billion-dollar entity. I think that was really smart of them, right? So good job there. Great going. Now, on top of that, when you get into the, as they say, barring incredible viewership from HBO in 45 days, the graceful exit offered by that will probably be the series finale. And I can tell you for a fact, it is the series finale. How do you know that? A couple of months ago, you had one of the huge Harry Potter sites talking about, they were the first ones to talk about this. I think it was MuggleNet. They were talking about how the script for the next movie hadn't been written already. And that was kind of a surprise, you know, because you always get a script for the next movie. Well, the next one has not been written yet. Why? Because they weren't going to greenlight one, because they think that the franchise, they know behind the scenes that they killed it. That's why Discovery started lopping heads, because, again, they killed one franchise for sure through ineptitude. Again, the Ezra Miller stuff was like the icing on the proverbial cake, but they already knew that they had destroyed that franchise. They knew when they started advertising the way that they moved things around, they knew they destroyed it with JD and all of the pushback. Like, it's already a niche product. Like another Harry Potter franchise add-on on top of the main item. So you have the Harry Potter stuff, then you have a spin-off, which is niche by itself. Then you have the third installation, which is even more of a niche product. And then you have them taking everything. Yeah, good job there. Good job. Now, on top of that today, well, I thought that was funny. On top of that, you had Page 6 actually pick up the Eve Barlow story. And they put a lot of They put a lot in this. I mean, they put absolutely a lot in it. They're one of the few places that's actually reporting on this. I think it's hilarious to see. They're exclusive. Amber Heard's pal kicked out of the courtroom during the JD trial, which I think is funny. You know, what's really funny about all of this right here, too, is Eve Barlow. They discredited her. Oh, by the way, let me show you something. Let me show you a couple of things on top of that. So, the Heard side, let me give you 1 second. The Heard side of that, the lawyers involved were saying things like Eve Barlow is not a journalist. Now, I would say not a good journalist. Sure, I would agree with that. But not a journalist is fascinating. You know, that they noted that. They also noted that Eve Barlow was not at the beginning of the show either, or at the beginning of the trial either. You know, they lied about that in opening. They said that she wasn't there. She wasn't around for the beginning. They didn't know anything about it. There she is right there at the beginning of the trial. So they lied about that. They also said that she was not there for or rather, she's not a journalist, right? I mean, that's what they were reporting as part of it. Well, here you have discussions about how she's a known British music journalist. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to see all of this come together. Now, page 6 has talked about different items that have come up in the JD story. But they were, look at you see Barlow like stuck all up in there. They actually talk about how they met and everything. I didn't realize like how that came together. I've never really cared about that much, but I thought it was kind of fascinating to see a media source picking up on this, because that's how crazy this stuff has gotten. Now, Eve Barlow too, like her and her crazies. They've gotten into flagging. They've gotten into doxing. I mean, they've been doing anything they can. The Heard side, they've gotten crazy. By the way, Amber Heard has opened up her comments on Twitter, her posts. People can comment on them. Do not. That is bait. She's baiting people. She's never had them open before. Now she's opened them back up because she wants to be able to talk about harassment. On top of that, you have doxing attempts going on. Now, my name has already been doxed, so it doesn't really matter. I was doxed in 2019. That's why I'll post pictures, you know, of family and kids. I don't really use my own face up there because that's not part of the show. But look, they've gotten desperate enough now that they're trying to use a bunch of people's real names. They use my real name in there too, as a we're gonna get you. You know, thinking that will back you off. It's hilarious. They've gotten so desperate to try to stop this train right now because it is running out of control for them, that they are willing to. They're using, like I said, real names. Trying to cause issues. It's absolutely hilarious that they think that'll work. You know, here's a secret for you. Here's a secret for you, Eve Barlow. I mean, Lucky. You're lucky there. Whichever crazy you are, either you're Eve or you're connected to you, who knows? They're all nut jobs. But here's a little secret. The place I work for, they know what I do. They absolutely 100% know what I do. And were you guys ever effective enough to knock me out of work? You know what that would do? That would make 100% of my time this. Could you imagine? Like, you see what I do with my free time now. Could you imagine if I dedicated 100% of my time to doing what I do online? Holy crap. That would be scary, wouldn't it? Then these people would never know what to do. So yeah, you just keep that up. It won't work out for you. Like I said here, you know, those Amber Heard simps, they're so shook. They're using my real name to try to stop me. I'm like, bring it, you know. But I'm not the dance partner you'll want. Because me, I'll wreck you. I'll monetize you. And I'll leave you wondering what the fuck happened while laughing live about fun times. Fun times indeed. I love these people. They're so dumb. The Eve Barlow weirdos. I actually went through. Somebody sent me some stuff I had forgotten about at one time, to be honest. You know, so Barlow has actually gone after more than I remembered. I'd forgotten about the incel stuff, for example. When apparently an incel is anyone that these folks don't agree with. But I thought that this was funny. Then we're going to get some videos. Give me 1 second. Pull this up for you. Check it out. This is John. Again, like I said, finding out. Now, Eve Barlow is the girlfriend of Amber Heard. Remember that. If you don't know the story, just really quickly, what happened here. Eve Barlow was passing notes, doing all kinds of craziness within the courtroom, and the judge let it go because the judge thought that they were part of the law group, which is messed up. There's no ramification for Heard's team for allowing this stuff to happen. They lied repeatedly about Eve Barlow. They lied about her positioning. They lied about who she was. They allowed her to do damage control, or rather to do damage. And that damage culminated in taking out a witness, Gina Deuters. Now, Gina Deuters, if you missed out on the shit show that started Wednesday, it started out looking bad for Johnny Depp because Gina Deuters ends up getting removed from the courtroom. She's testifying for JD. She's asked if, she has been checking out things outside of the court, if she's been looking into to different kinds of evidence and on. Let me blow this all the way up here. I forgot I could do this now. Check that out. Slide it over. Isn't that fun? Love it. But Gina Deuters ends up getting kicked out of the courtroom for manufactured evidence. That's right. Manufactured evidence. Not real, fake evidence. It's astounding when you think about it, right? That somebody created something fake. Well, what they did, let me show you this, and then I'll go back to Eve Barlow, because it's all Eve Barlow, and I want people to understand why Eve Barlow matters. This matters more because the defense team for Amber Heard allowed this to happen, and on top of it, they've been allowing other things to happen. But you see this post here. So Gina Deuters this was presented to the judge as Gina Deuters talking about the trial. I mean, if you look at it just really fast, just reading it fast, everyone has their battles, some more public than others. Our dear friend got a few wins in court this week, and yet some press continue to belittle him as desperate in his plight. You know what? When a sociopathic show pony attempts to destroy your life and the whole world cheers her on, you can argue things do look desperate. So instead of misleading adjective, I would like to highlight his perseverance, since by no means has he lost the will to fight for the truth. For those interested, here's the week's update, and they talk about things like they talk about finding out about charity. They talk about the thing about Russian bots and on. But here's the reality, the big kicker here. When Heard's team presented this, they left out the truth of it, that Gina Deuters did not post this during this trial. This was a lie manufactured by Eve Barlow. She handed a phone, which is noted in the transcript of what happened. The transcript is readily available out there. In fact, I'm going to link it into the chat right now. I'm going to give it to you. You guys can check it out at your leisure. Oh, crap. Actually, I'm going to have to upload it again. So it's linked. Okay, the real Laura B on Twitter has uploaded it in pieces. I was going to drop it to you, but it's actually not. It's on my computer. I forgot. I went ahead and uploaded it from something, so I can't drop it to you because you won't you won't have access to the. I thought it was in my Dropbox, but it's not yet. So I'll have to upload it to a Dropbox. But before that, if you really want to see it, just go to Real Laura B on Twitter. She has that uploaded. Just check it out. But checking. Again, if you look through it, again, I'm not going to cover all this or anything, but I just want to show you. I did all of this in a video talking about it. But if you look at the transcript from that day, you find out a lot about, you find out current girlfriend, that's Eve Barlow. She was sitting in a front row. The front row was supposed to be, you have row 2 apparently was friends and family. Row 1 was part of their trial. So they were misusing that. Hey, Snuggles wants a refund. Thanks for the 5. Eve Barlow is really John Wayne Gacy turned lesbian. That's creepy. When she puts on that clown cost, oh, that'd be creepy. When she puts on the makeup, But when you read through this, again, it's a crazy show. I broke it all down in a video. It's like proof. It's like the 2 videos down. So if you haven't seen it, it's about a 10-minute video. It's definitely worth checking. Actually, somebody link that if you would in the comments. That way, if anybody's not seen it, they'll be able to find it and easily. But there's a lot in here that's said, including the fact that Eve Barlow wasn't just kicked out once; she was kicked out twice. She was kicked out of the courtroom at 4:31 for tweeting. So she gets someone else in trouble for tweeting about this, and you're not allowed to as a witness. Now, she's not a witness, mind you, but she's still in the courtroom, and she's live tweeting anyway. She tweeted at 4:31 while the trial was going on. What does Amber Heard hope to achieve? She has a gorgeous 1-year-old daughter, and she said she was beginning the rest of her life in 2021, 12 months after her mother died. So she was doing live tweets in the courtroom. She's doing all of this mess. But what's crazy about it, again, this person has been trying to take my channel out for a while now. And it's wild to find out that they are indeed, like, you have the admittance. Again, look at them, like, going after. I told, like, Eve Barlow kept trying to pick fights with me. Okay, let's see. It starts out, she keeps running her mouth about different things. She's been tagging different people in, and she puts up this post about what will it take for social media companies to become responsible and how its users disseminate sensitive personal information and employ their platforms to obsessively harass public figures. I fear the worst. They're talking about, basically you need to be suspended for talking about Amber Heard. And I posted Amber Heard's cronies complaining about harassment of public figures while using social media to destroy lives with false allegations, REJD, and more. If they wanted real harassment ban, then sign the F off, because they're the harassers. I mean, that's the truth, right? They're the ones that burn people's lives down. They're the fake weirdos out there. They're the ones setting fire to lives. And this is when we start getting into the fun. An obsessed coward who hides behind a pseudonym and spends his or her entire life in pursuit of human beings' downfall by any means possible. Actually, that sounds like a description of someone else. To me, it sounds like the description of these people, because the downfall, well, we already saw that. I would say putting out the truth about who and what these folks are. Yeah, that's not looking for the downfall of anyone. Now, what's funny is I responded to all of that by laughing about it and then saying, "Thanks for the live stream material too, Eve. I'll make a stream called Eve Barlow Tries to Shut Me Down, Simping Amber Heard. Let's monetize that, stupid." You idiots, you're going to end up paying for my house. And this was back a year ago. Yeah, because that's him. They're going to end up paying for my house. Thank you. Love you. And look, incels. Apparently an incel has 2 wonderful daughters. I have an 8-year-old daughter who is a lot of fun. I have a 2-year-old daughter who is a spitfire and a lot of fun. I have a wife I've been married to for a long time, but apparently it still makes you an incel, right? Incels making their earnest living via the unfiltered hatred for women. Unfiltered hatred. They always love using identity. See, this is the disgusting thing that I always run into with these people, too. When they have no argument, when they're caught red-handed, what they do is they switch to whatever identity filter. Like for her, she uses women and she uses Judaism. She talks about being a Jew. She talks about whatever, and she'll say that's why you're aiming at her. In fact, when Eve Fartlow started trending, because Seth Rogen was making fun of her, she said that was comparable to what the Yahtzees did to the Jewish people. That was the E version of it. She was the first person that it ever happened to. So another Jewish person saying that took on the role of the Yahtzee in that situation, which was astounding. But hey, Jackie 816, thanks for the 5. This has to wear on you. Thank you for staying the course and keeping us informed. Some days it does. Like in the trial, it's better. Like outside of the trial, it really. You know what really is messed up? Every single day, knowing these people are going to try to flag your stuff down. You know, every single day. Like here, again, social media does nothing to stop it. It does nothing to stop you. You know, again, that's Amber Heard speaking, trying to take the channel down. And she's done this. I mean, okay, the real connection, the thing that really told me just how connected that she was to Amber Heard, it came with this post right here back in January. And the reason that spoke wheels to me was because there was a document that dropped a day later after she started trying to tag in YouTube to get me knocked out, and it said this same thing. It said it more legalese pattern, but it was saying, you know, there's JD, there's security risk, this and that, and then there was a part that was redacted from a document. Now that redacted portion, obviously, I didn't know what that was. I couldn't see my name in it, but she filled in the blanks. Now, what that tells me, number one, she's obviously an unfiltered mouthpiece for Amber Heard. Number two, this is Amber Heard trying to take down my channel with her girlfriend. And number three, she has unfettered access to everything that's going on, obviously. She knew what was, you know, she's complaining about security risk because we supposedly know private items, and yet she had unfettered access. So I mean, I thought that was interesting. Bella's mom, thanks for the 5. Abusers tend to accuse their victims of their own crimes. Oh yeah, you see that all the time too. That's how a lot of monsters operate, you know. And Minor Zircon, thanks for the 2. Everybody is an istrophobe. Yep. That's why I just call us all istophobes a lot of times. Because to them, you're some kind of ist, whether you're a sexist, racist, phobe, you know, or a transphobe, or a certain other kind of phobe. They just call yourself an istophobe and be done with it. You know, you're all istophobes, you know, according to these folks. Why? Because they transpose the sins themselves. They hate. They know how to hate. And you really got to feel for it when Eve Barlow got kicked out of the courtroom. I mean, you got to. By the way, if you didn't see the judge decided in that discussion that she was kicking her out. But you know, this came up before that, saying, yeah, she had been kicked out. Now, here's the thing too. You know why she ended up getting kicked out? Because while she was watching everyone else, while she was doing the dirty to everyone else, somebody was watching her. Somebody saw everything that she was doing in the courtroom, and all of that got amplified. In fact, a lot of the noise, from what I understand, that we made online, a lot of the videos talking about it, a lot of the note passing, that was seen by the people that needed to see it. That motivated because it made people mad. And that's what was brought up. So all of that noise when stuff comes up like that, that mattered. And people handled it in the right way, by the way. You weren't out there trying to tag in Amber Heard or tag in Eve Barlow. We're making videos showing what's happening in the court, because that is not justice. Oh, man. Hey, Scott, thanks. Scott Wiggum, thanks for the 20 there. Thank you for the constant updates. I appreciate it, man. I find it interesting. I've spent so much time looking at this case. Again, there are other people that know more about documentation. I feel like I've got good sourcing all over the place, though. So I know that stuff is going to happen, and I know a lot of what is going on with Warner. I feel like I know a lot of the backlash with Disney. I really wanted to understand this case because I felt like it mattered a lot. Now, does that mean you're going to, all of this stuff, does it mean you're going to win anything? No, not in the courtroom. But you know what? In the court of public opinion, the man, he was uncanceled. I've never seen it happen. And we're going to show some more video in just a second. Zero Depressive, thanks for the 25 RON. The more I want to forget about her, the more Anita still comes back as someone else. That's very true. That's very true. All right, so let me show you two things, and then we're going to pull up new video that's going to be awesome. And I'm going to put it all together because there's 3 videos that I want to put together, including video that was already out there. So you have 2 videos that we really haven't looked at. There's going to be a lot of video in here too. And God knows what's still out there. I mean, I have no idea. Like, I haven't been able to watch every video that was up because some of them are like 9 gigs size. So just download it. And then on top of that, some of these videos are like an hour long because they're surveillance videos. So you got to like flip through them. You know, you got to scroll just fast enough that the people don't blur out. But then you got to find where like the Amber Heard sighting pops up, because that's why they're in there. Amber Heard is somewhere in that video. And you got to figure out why she's there. Is it just a glimpse? Then is it a good glimpse? Because some of this stuff looks like there's certain films that look like they were made like a keyhole cam or something. I mean, they're terrible. Like, these are all the Eastern Columbia building surveillance footage. That's where it came from. But some of these are they're horrible. Like, they're horrible footage. And again, some of them are very, very long. Let me pull up one. Like I'll show you what I mean about that. So there's an outdoor surveillance cam. I'll show you like what I mean about length and how hard it is to find something in there sometimes. So there's no sound to these, by the way. Okay, so this is a footage. I'm not showing you this as when we go through. I'll just give you an idea of how much you have to go through. 35 minutes long. Look at it. It looks like it's filmed through again, you can tell where, people are signing in, and you've got to watch, like, is it people that are coming in to eat? Is it a walkthrough, because people just walk through the frame? You can see like that. I mean, who exactly, what exactly is this? You don't know, because it's just unfiltered video. Now, some of it will come in. I mean, it could be as much as like that could be her. And sometimes when you see her walk through too, you don't recognize her, because of the way that she's dressed or people that she's with. And there's also, on top of that, you have footage. Now, there are some things that are interesting. Like, there's this one I want to show you. All right, this isn't one of the ones I planned, but I want to show you this, and then I want to take a screenshot from it because I want to look at it too. Now, you're going to have both sides, I bet, use this one. All right, now this has her doing a little walkthrough. All right, this is what I mean about walkthroughs. Some of these matter, some of them don't. Hide that. All right, so if you look here down at the bottom, for example, I have to find her. There she goes. You'll see right here Amber Heard pops in. Look. Now, what's fascinating about this video here is you can see her face. In some places you can see it decently well. Now it's really hard to see because she's at the bottom of the tape, but you can amplify this one. You can blow up what's there. And I bet you both sides, like when they clean it up, you're going to notice like there's no mark to it. There's going to be no mark on her face. I've seen cleaned up video from a lot of these days. But what you're seeing here, the point in showing you this is to say they have video of her every day throughout, from the 21st through the 29th and beyond. And that what they have are there's another guy in this video, like the guy that's walking with her. There's a guy who's going to close the door up here sometime. I don't remember when he closed the door. Oh, he walks out like right after her, I think. But this guy they'll just barely see him. See this guy right here? This guy's staff, he saw her that day, and he'll be able to testify to whether or not she has marks. And she called all of those people that discussed that, she called all of them liars. She talked smack about them. She treated them like absolute trash. So now they have video that tie them to the scenes that prove undeniably that they were there for sure, just for sure that they were involved. So I think that matters. Now, I think it's funny too, her deniability level. Like, again, that what she's tried to incorporate in all of this. I mean, she's tried so hard to damage control. But did you know, along with that stuff, the police are in there too. You know that first set of police officers? Did you know that they're involved there? That's right. That's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch the first set of police officers arrival. We're going to watch the first set of police officers leaving. The way that they leave and what they do during leaving is actually very telling. There's another thing, too. The timestamps on this stuff are absolutely correct. So when you compare the metadata that she has on file to the timestamps are 100% right on. They absolutely obliterate the metadata that she tries to use for pictures. So we're going to look at two of those. Well, before we do that, though, I want to show you two things. Number one, we have something for the channel that we just added. Our Amica cream. Now, if you look here on it, you'll notice the little text thing. I left that in there because there's no Amica cream, okay? They've been making a big deal about Amica cream, right? There's no Arnica. It's Arnica cream. So they talked about Amica cream as this miracle drug for days because they don't know what it is. So we made an I love Amica cream for the shirt. If you pick this up, we will take all profit, give it, I don't know, maybe the Children's Hospital. Since she defunded, since she didn't give the Children's Hospital money, we're going to give it to Children's Hospital. So link is in the description right there. If you want to back that, again, all profit that I get from it will go to a children's hospital. Since she won't fund kids, we definitely will. Any other shirt, too. We have a few shirts, like we have two that are guilty shirts, you know, with the gavel coming down. You pick those up. There's a women's and a kid's shirt. That stuff, it goes 100%. Again, I think it's funny. I think it's fun to play around with. I'll show those off later. The other thing, I want to show my sponsor real quick. The sponsor is always myself, of course. The comic book is doing amazingly well, but I want to put this out there. I always want to talk about it. I'm going to make it very brief today, all right? But it's very important that we build alternatives. So this is our comic. We're killing it with it. We added 30 days because there were health issues. My little one had health issues. I don't want you to back because of that. I'm just saying we added more days while we're working on it anyway. But we're killing it. Now, the companies that create comics, the companies, Disney, Warner Brothers, those companies, look what they did in this case alone. And not just to him. Warner Brothers sat on the information that he wasn't guilty for over a year, until they thought they could be pulled into the courtroom. But besides that, they denigrated you as customers. They treated you like absolute trash. So you need to walk away from them. When they do, though, don't give up everything that belongs to us. We keep our hobbies. You walk away, you walk towards something, you help us build up something we can hold up high and say, look, this could have been yours, but it's not. And we've done a lot so far, and we'll get bigger. It's beautiful. Comic books, the bundles, they make sense. We've had 3 comic books. We've delivered on 2. We have all 3 of them attached, plus a mini comic. You get them separately. If you don't care about a comic at all, you want to pick up something, give it to kids. Again, Children's Hospital. I think that ties into what we talk about. You buy a comic book for donation, we will donate another comic book, 2 to them for that. Again, you can go through all of this. You can look at what's here. I don't want to spend all day on it, but if you want alternatives, we can complain forever about these companies. We can complain and we can do nothing. We can keep funneling our money to them, or we can do change. We can actually make change. All right, so I'm going to show you 2 videos today. Both videos are police-oriented videos. All right, I'm pulling them up right now, because if I keep them on my desktop, I'll just have a bunch of cluttered videos. There's a lot of, actually, there's one other video I want to show you before. This came up a million times too. So there's a bunch of videos from the Eastern Columbia building that day. And there's one that really, it got my noggin jogging about something. So you know they talk about magnum-sized bottles of wine, right? You know they love talking about the magnum-sized bottle of wine he was running around smashing shit with. Okay, well, here's the video of JD. I'm adding this one to the stuff since I've got it pulled up. Here's the video of JD exiting that day. You can see, this is the Eastern Columbia. You'll recognize that carpet. That's the carpet for his level. You'll notice. Here come his guys, right? And here he is. Now, what's he carrying, by the way? Look at him very closely. I want you to look at him again. His hands. Let's see. Do you see any? I'm catching his hand there. Like I said, I want you to watch his hand. It's very hard to catch it there. But look, like with his hand, you see his jacket go by. But there's like, look at his hands. Watch him. His hand's empty. You can see it flop up and down. He takes his coat off and everything. You know what he's missing in that picture? He's missing a magnum-sized bottle of wine that he's been on a rampage with. You see his other bodyguards. They have bags that they've taken from the scene, but there's not a bottle of wine. See, you're talking about a large bottle of wine. You wouldn't be concealing it very easily, right? He doesn't have that on him. So where did it go? I mean, if he's on a rampage smashing shit with a bottle of wine, that's not just going to miracle its way out of frame, is it? Because, I mean, they're in a hurry. They're leaving. You know, it looks a lot different than the way they describe things, doesn't it? Again, just giving you that glimpse one more time. Then we're going to get to the police arrival. There's a lot. See, like I said, he's got his jacket on. He takes his jacket off. They have all of their bags, which is fascinating, too. The way that she made this sound, they didn't have time. They just came in, ransacked, and left. But they grabbed a few things, too. Now, he's not happy, but does he look... He looks antsy, like I got to go. I got to get out of here. Now, what was fascinating, too, is when they played that, I need to go through... Like, you can tell he's upset. He's visually upset because of what happened. But it's I got to get the hell out of here upset, right? Where'd that bottle of wine go, though? Like, somebody riddle me that. Okay, then we have more footage, all right? Now, this footage is going to be... now, these are raw pieces of footage, so I've got to skip forward a little bit, okay? So when I start, the reason I'm mentioning this is raw footage to you is because you'll notice I don't start at the beginning of the footage. I can't... It's not the beginning. Maybe, you know what? I figured out something, actually. So when JD went into the scene, what he did first and foremost, he decided to dispose of the evidence. So he put a little bit of amica cream right on top of his right on top of the bottle, and poof, it disappeared. That's probably what happened to Eve Barlow, actually. You know, when everybody got tired of her, they just sloshed a little amica cream her way. She got a little bit on her, and poof, she disappeared too. Because you know what? It takes out blemishes, right? Oh man, that deserved a soundboard, didn't it? Let's see. Oh yeah, rim shot, baby, rim shot. At least it was a sad trombone. All right, anyway, so anyway, I've skipped forward. Again, I mentioned that because I don't want you wondering why the heck I'm starting this video out of sequence, minutes in. All right, I want you to pay close attention to things like timestamps. Again, you notice the date here, 05/21/2016. So that's an important date. Again, that is incident 14. Incident 14, again, is the... We'll go over incident 14 in a minute, okay? I may have to actually push this up a little. All right, so the guy here that is wearing like a baby Gap shirt. I'm swear, like look, like I get it. Like I've put on some COVID pounds, I've got a little bit of my manly physique is a little fattening right now. But look at this, man. He shops at the Baby Gap. Look, I mean, his nipples are firmly out there. Come on, dude. God. Why you gotta shop at the Baby Gap, son? I mean, when you're doing this kind of stuff, like, oh, Lord. He wants it. You can tell when he walks around and stuff, he wants to be like an intimidating, manly man. Intimidating, manly man making beads for the flea market while living off another man's goodwill. Yeah, you're a manly man, son. Like I said, update your attire. Stop taking your attire from the preschool when you're Never mind. I was about to say something about snatching kids off the playground. That's allegedly. But anyway, you get the point. Oh, Lord, I hate these people. Okay, look at the time frame here. All right, the timestamps are important because remember this. They say that they take photographs upstairs of wine spillage on the ground and on the walls. They took those at 9:04 p.m. All right, you see the time right here. It is 9:01:51. Now, what's interesting, there are other videos that I've not yet gotten all the way through, but you can see Isaac Baruch coming into the video and bumping into the police at around 9:20. So his time frame is right on. He said 9:30, give or take 5 minutes. So when he gets to the party, it's going to be 9:25. Why does that matter again? Because photos. So you see Josh Drew enter. You can tell, like I said, you can tell he thinks he's a man. He thinks he's gonna step to somebody. Oh, he's such a man. I mean, how else? Like, you know how you tell that a man's a real man? By the size of his mammaries. Thanks for the mammaries, Josh. Thanks for the mammaries. I swear, Lord. But anyway, so Josh, he's on here again. I want this to play out because there's I'm gonna jump it after he gets off here, but I need you to see the timestamp because the timestamps are important. Okay, so he exits 9:02:21. All right. Now again, what he says he does when he exits this elevator is he goes and he meets up with Amber Heard. He meets up with her in a room. She's on the phone. She didn't call the police, by the way. Neither of them did. She was on the phone to her PR person. That's right. Not on the phone to somebody because she's scared to death. She's on the phone to her PR person because she's afraid Johnny Depp's going to let this get out first. So he said something like, let's go to a different penthouse. They're going to go to a different area. And the reason I add that is because he has a roughly 1.5 minute, he has 90 seconds to situate and take pictures. That, there's no way in hell. All right. Now, on the same video, we get something else that's interesting. You can see happening right here. That also works into our time frame. So, at roughly 9:04, actually not roughly, hell. At 9:04, well, I say roughly because it's not roughly there. All right, so at 9:04:43, this is our first set of police officers. All right, now, our first set of police officers, you can tell first versus second set because the first set of police officers, there's a female and a male police officer. Now, I want you to notice their demeanor. Their demeanor is very important in the point that I'm going to make. So I need you to pay attention to their demeanor going up, and then we'll see what happens coming down. All right. So here's their demeanor. Look, like that guy's very serious. First of all, that guy, like look at his face. Like he is very serious in the moment. He's a trainee, too. You know, he's not... Yeah, that's his training officer. So, but you look at them there. They look up something on their phone, get information on it, probably. You can see again, he's moving his shoulders around and stuff because it's in the moment. Like I said, there's a point to all of that. But watch them. They're discussing, they're talking about floors, whatever. They're still in the moment with this. They're talking about the layout of the place. They don't know what they're going to find. And they're expecting something that's some type of crime scene. They're 100% expecting to find out that there was a guy here that did something horrific, right? Okay, they exit. Now here's another thing with the timestamp that I want you to notice. 9:05:21. So again, this is 90 seconds after the timestamp on the photographs as well, which I'll show you those in just a moment too. There was 90 seconds to take photos, and again, the guy didn't go and talk to Amber Heard or anything else during it. There's no way his time works in, and they don't run into them taking pictures in the hallway either, which would have been equally important if something would have happened with that. Okay, now I'm going to switch videos because I'm going to show you them exiting. The exiting video, it makes a very good point. I've tried uploading this to YouTube, by the way, because what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make a video with that first video, the second video, and the police body cam footage, which I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to show it all together, but I'm going to make a video with all of that sequential. But YouTube is being a pain in the ass about uploading stuff like that because, you know, if I made a video saying Amber Heard wins big or something, boy, I could get that through in a heartbeat. But man, you talk about something that looks bad for her, So anyway, here's the second video that comes up. Give me 1 second, locking in on it. Now this is the leaving video, okay? I'm skipping over some people because, again, this is just raw. This is raw video, all right? So, right here. All right, the police, they've been on scene. Now, the judge acted like such a D-bag. One of the reasons that he said that the police were disqualified is because years later, he said they were terrible witnesses. It was because years later, they couldn't remember how long they were on scene. They said somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. And if you look at that, I mean, okay, you're talking about 12 minutes. Plus their walk-in, though. See, the distinction in that, too, is how long did it take them to walk in the building? How long did it take them to walk out? The judge was like, And then they said, you know, Baby Gap here, he was a great witness. He was a sterling witness. So Baby Gap matters, but they don't. Hey, Robin, thanks for the 2 there. Human being, ask me if I care. Seriously, exchange numbers. I don't know what that was about. All right, so look here. All right, so you have Baby Gap again. You have both cops enter. Now, the cops are actually in a pretty good mood. Now, look right off the bat. Female cops, like, smiling. You saw that, right? Now, it's going to continue, but the female cop is in a great mood. I mean, smile. Now, if you just witnessed a woman that has had her face brutalized, do you think you're going to be smiling? First of all, do you think you yourself would be smiling? But then, on top of that, do you think you'd be smiling with the guy that was there at the scene? Do you think you'd be smiling with him and looking like you were happy? Now, he does the same thing that he pulls with the other group. It's cordial, too. Now, this is also very important as well. You never hear anything negative about the 2 police officers from any of that side until it becomes something that they can weaponize. Now, after it becomes something they can weaponize, because they think that they're going to be destroyed by these police officers, and they are. I mean, it's a sticking point. You know, think about this too. If she went in with 4 police officers on her side, that would have been insurmountable evidence. JD would have been in trouble, right? But JD goes in with 4 police officers on his side, and he still has to sue to clear his name. I mean, that's insane, right? That seems kind of insane, right? But anyway, they after they find out the cops are going to back them up, they also go through the entire. They were for sale. They were bought and sold by JD. So. You see, both of them, you know, they exchange greetings. Now, look, that officer smiled again, like nicely. See her on the side of her face. She's smiling. She's going to continue doing this. She's going to be in that kind of mood, you know. So when she's talking to the police officer here, now you saw how they were serious in the first video, right? Now look at them now. Like she's in a great mood. Again, if you just left the scene where somebody had been brutalized, how do you think you're going to act? Would you act like this? If you'd seen damage in any way whatsoever, would you be acting like this? If you thought somebody was in danger, would you be acting like this? If you thought Johnny Depp had brutalized another person, would you be acting like this? If you were the cop that had to go arrest Johnny Depp or put out something for him at his name level, would you act like this? No. All of it is an absolute no. Hey, Zero Depressive, thanks for the 25 RON. Amber hits me like the type of woman who would do the Gone Girl maneuver on someone. Well, okay, just to say on top of that, funny you should mention that, because in the court on day one, in 2016, this year, the year that we see this footage, she alleges on the 27th of May, so in 6 days, she's going to allege that there were 3 incidents. Okay, 3 incidents of DV in their relationship. By 2020, she's going to allege that there are 14. By 2022, she's going to further expand on those incidents. We don't actually know. Maybe she's added more incidents in here we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we don't really know if there's going to be more yet or not. But we know she's expanded. And she adds the words rape and sexual violence. On top of that, she adds in something a la Gone Girl, where she's violated with a bottle. So, yeah. All right. So, anyway, looking at this here, though. If you look at the lady. She keeps laughing. They're telling jokes. They're talking. He's like, ha, 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 look how happy she is there. Does she seem like somebody that's again, just experienced some kind of horrific crime scene? Does she look like that to you? Because they act like that the whole way down. They're casual in the way that they're acting together. It's not just one officer. I mean, they're casual. They're guard. It's gone down from the first to the second video. They let down everything. Then when you add that to existing video, give me 1 second here. I gotta pull this up. God, there's so much. Remember, there are dozens and dozens of videos out there too. So when you add that to the body cam footage that exists with the police, so that was your first sets of cops. They don't have body cam footage, right? We have surveillance footage. But when you add that to the existing, I'm going to mute this. We'll pick up the sound on it toward the end, when they come in, but I don't want to listen to them walk. But we have our second set of police officers that arrive on scene. All right, so is there surveillance footage of it? Maybe. I don't really know yet. I haven't made it through all of it. There's so much footage there. Like I said, it takes forever to go through it all. But when you look here, again, it's very important that you add both of these scenes, the officer's reaction and your own eyes. What Amber Heard's people are going to tell you about this body cam footage is they're going to tell you that it's proof that they were telling the truth. Why? Because they say that they cleaned up the scene between the first and second officers. So you don't have any body cam footage proof of damages? Well, the only problem with that is when you're walking down the hall, they wouldn't be able to clean the carpet. They wouldn't be able to undo damage to the doors. So you got the walking through the hallways. We got police officers' butt side shot. Now, but you look through this, these are male officers walking, by the way. But if you look at the carpet, do you see any damages there? No. Doesn't stick out. They knock. Now, what's going to happen is Josh Drew is going to be the one that comes to the door. I'm going to turn the sound on now, okay? I'll shut up when he shows up. I hate that sound from body cam footage where they walk. It's like... I'll tell you what they had to say about them, too. Okay. So here's Josh Drew. It'll be real low
You guys
volume.
had somebody come out here earlier? Yes, we did. Okay. I can't remember the names offhand. The card is Science, maybe? Yeah, we got another call. I don't know if it's related to the same call from earlier or if somebody called again. Probably.
We just need to check. When you guys know someone in New York or something?
Okay, that statement there, if you couldn't understand it, by the way, they say, we're coming in, we're checking on another call. Do you guys know someone from New York? That's Io Tillett Wright that is called the police. So the calls, again, Amber Heard or her cronies have not made any calls. The calls are coming in all the way from New York. I mean, if that doesn't say something weird. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, she probably called twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to your wife so you can make sure?
Oh, it's not mine, it's her.
Oh, okay. Whoever.
Different conversation.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, whoever it is, stuff out, you gotta get on, make sure you're all right.
I'll go get the business card from the cops. She's.
Yeah, I don't know, just because we got another call and we came again, we still gotta make sure.
Give me 1 second.
Back up, please, back up. We'll just come in and just check. We need to make sure everybody in here is.
Now, a lot of this is important to you because of the items that you see or don't see. We'll bring all that up in a minute. I think one of the most telling things about this, again, like when you look at the officers, when they're speaking, they're speaking, they don't know which female to speak to. Again, if you see, we have it's body cam footage. It's in lower light. But if you are dealing with somebody that has been through some kind of horrific ordeal, they even if you didn't see the physical signs, you'd be able to tell from how they had been acting throughout the night. Like you'd see something telltale about them, but they didn't know who to respond to at all.
Okay. Who's Amber?
Dogs are there.
You? Okay. And Johnny?
He's in slippers.
Is definitely not here.
He's not here? Okay.
Probably like 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Everything's all good then? All right. Well, if you guys need anything else,
See-
just call us back.
They're out like a bullet, right? I mean, they're gone. So when you line those up, I mean, that shows you, first of all, the police action or lack of action, because they don't care. Like they don't care about the scene because there's nothing involved in it. Then when you look at what makes this further interesting is the breakdown of items. Let me pull up the breakdown of items, okay? So I don't know if you've ever heard of Andy. Andy is the person who breaks down all of this stuff. He does a fantastic job, but he broke down everything that you saw with body cam footage about discussions and more. And he also showed you two things that are really important here. And I need to bring both of these up for our conversation. So remember I was talking about that timestamp on the one video, 9:04. Like I just harped on about 9:04. The reason I did that is because there's only 7 pictures. I mean, drink that in. There's 7 pictures that are outside of the body cam footage that are supposed to make you say, yeah, you know what? All of this happened. 7 pictures. So there are, give me 1 second. I'm pulling all of it up here. So they have 5 pictures on the interior. They have 2 pictures on the exterior. And Isaac Baruch also works into it. All right. So they say the exterior photographs, they happen 9:04. Now, Isaac Baruch, he says when he comes on scene, all right, I got both of these pulled up. All right, I'm going to show you let me show you the interior first, and then I'll show you the exterior, okay? So the interior shots, this is what you see from the interior. This is all she has on her side to describe a rampage from Johnny Depp, all right? These are important pictures because, again, this is all she has to prove her story about a rampage. You have glass bottle. Now, again, I want you to imagine all of this is supposedly done by a guy that is unhinged, swinging around a magnum-sized bottle of wine that is full. It is sloshing around. He manages somehow to hit this, knock it out, not break anything here, not hit any of this stuff because none of it's broken. And you can tell, actually, that none of this is damaged. I forgot to pull this up. There's at the bottom of this document are realtor photographs of the setup here because they're going to have to sell this location, right? Well, the realtor photographs actually have that glass there. The realtor photographs, look, here's the glass pieces. They're set up again. So that's one of your pictures down. Again, glass bottle, nothing breaks. Nothing at all. All right. Now, my favorite one probably is the next one. Why? Because it shows you the strength of wicker. Because wicker shouldn't be a tough item, right? I mean, you've dealt with like a wicker basket before, yeah? I mean, you've held a wicker basket. Those things, they want to fall apart in your hands half the time, you know? You know what I mean? Like if you put something in a wicker basket and you're a little bit too rough with it, the thing, I mean, it's like it unspools itself. Okay, well, there's a photograph of the floor. Give me a second. I've got this pulled up for you. Like I'm pulling them up, so I'm positioning them so you can see them better. All right, so this photograph here, this is the second one. All right, this is a wicker basket. You look real close, you can see the wicker basket, and I'm going to show you the wicker basket in the aftermath. It's not damaged at all. Now, what you have in here are avocados, bananas, and some other crap, whatever that is. I don't even know what half this crap is, you know, because I don't own it. Hey, Scott, by the way, Scott William, thanks for the 20 there. IMO, the pooling, still dripping liquid down the hall is smoking gun. In these so-called evidence submissions, anyone with half a brain can see right through them. Carpets are absorbent AF. That is indeed. And not only that, but you have, when things are, I think this is a staged, like if you explain this, okay, again, I would take a wicker basket into the courtroom, hold it in my hands, and crush it. Because that's about how strong they are. This isn't metal. This is a wicker basket with avocado. Again, look at the weight in it. None of this is damaged. All of this food, it manages to survive contact with the floor. Like to me, that says, and beyond that too, like that super freaking wicker basket we're talking about, it ends up in another picture that is absolutely devastating to their case. Check it out right here. You see the realtor pictures? There's the wicker basket. It's been reused. And beyond that too, if you look at, okay, the person who put this together, Andy, is a freaking, I mean, he is a eagle eye because I couldn't even make these out without the help. If you look at the blurry footage on the video cam, you can make out fruit, the same stuff that's hit the ground. Now, you tell me, if somebody's been on a rampage and they've been breaking shit everywhere, would you eat off the floor where there had been glassing on? No, absolutely not, because you would take the chance of, you know, cross-contamination. If something had been knocked onto the ground, period, and had taken hits, would you eat it? Absolutely not, because, you know, it would be damaged. It'd be bruised and on. But they put it back on there. And again, here's the wicker basket. All of that stuff, it's ended back up. And there are plenty of pictures that back up the idea that nothing was damaged. Because she says in her statements that they're candelabras that were destroyed. Well, okay, the only candelabras that are sitting around, they're in the pictures. They're right there. So again, you see them in the body cam footage. Okay, so that's picture 2, though. All right, now picture 3. There's only one picture, by the way. I'm gonna give this one away. There's only one picture in here that's actually going to show damage of any form whatsoever. Because those pictures, again, they didn't have any damage on them. I'm going to call this picture 3. I mean, we could call them in any order we want to, but I'm going to show you the one with damage, okay? Now, you would be thinking there'd be a lot of damage, right? I mean, after all, guy's been on a rampage smashing things, and this is before cleanup. These are their pictures of the damage, all right? Well, this is the only damage that you actually get in a picture. You get the base of a wine glass. Where's the rest of the wine glass? Not really sure, but here's the base of one. You have a little bitty chip of glass right there. Maybe there's something. I mean, it could be anything, but let's assume it's glass. All right. There's your damage. That's it. That's all the damage that you're going to get throughout your 5 pictures. All right. Because these 5 pictures, again, it doesn't matter anything else that is submitted before or after for other incidents. This is of that. These are the incident photos that they provide. They also provide 2 pictures that show wine spillage. And one of these pictures is very telling because it kind of gives away gives the game away, as it were. So out of the wine spillage pictures, you have this one. Now this one, you see the wine spillage here. The wine spillage does not hit anything. It stops short of making contact with any items that would actually attach to. And if you look right here, you'll notice the wine spillage it stopped short of the carpet, but since it's wood, it's pushed over some. So somebody lifted the carpet up and made sure that only the underpad of the carpet got wet because it would ruin your carpet otherwise. So they didn't want that damage there. So they made sure that when they were setting up their scene, that happened. Now, like I say, there's one other photo too. This is of spillage as well. And if you look, same thing. It doesn't actually get on anything that could be damaged over time. It just throws a little bit of just small puddling on the floor. One glass bottle, though. That one glass gets destroyed. Now I'm going to show you the 2 things that Isaac Baruch kind of takes apart and really works into that time stamping. Hey, Metal to Mesh, thanks for the 5, by the way. The hair picture is staged. It's into the hair, very light blonde, and the roots should be dark, and there's no follicles. Yeah, you can tell there's no rooting on any of the pictures whatsoever, you know? Where can you find the CCTV without downloading? You'll have to download them. You'll have to download them all. That's the problem. I had to download all of that. Every footage, again, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of videos, too. They're just raw video things, but they're not uploaded to a site where you can access them even with thumbnails. So you're going to have to, there's no rhyme or reason to the way that things are input right now because we don't know what they're being used for either. We just had a bunch of evidentiary pieces added, but we don't know why any of that's being added. We will later on in the trial. We don't know how any of that will be introduced, but again, we have the raw stuff. There's a lot of CCTV. Again, there are hundreds of hours of tape there. I'm sure there's probably stuff that people missed. Let's be honest. They may have caught 1 or 2 things, but okay. So anyway, the timestamps that I was talking about, they become very important because of the other 2 pictures. These are the only pictures that deal with hallway damage. That's these 2 right here. Now, I'm going to show you them a little bit better in just a second, but for the sake of all of this, again, and this is detailed in this breakdown too, 904 is the timestamp on both of these, on their metadata, all right? You're going to have hallway, and you're going to have wall sloshing. Now, we saw the dates we saw the times on all of the videos. We saw all of that. It's been added. But if we look, okay, here's the pictures again, and you can see metadata stamps. Again, you can see right here. 90413 on that one. The other one is 90417. Okay, so both of those, again, remembering our timestamps. Josh Drew exits at 90220. So he's going to have to take these in less than 2 minutes, again, a minute and change. And that's including him getting off the elevator. He goes immediately to Amber Heard. They're going to switch off. Again, there's no way it happens, is what I'm saying. The police, they come in directly behind, 90 seconds after these timestamps. And then, when you look at this, okay, so Isaac Baruch, when he comes into the scene, he talks about this. This is his statement. On May 21st, 2016, I went out in the neighborhood. I arrived at the Eastern around 9:30 p.m. Now, he said again, give or take 5 minutes. His description, by the way, if you watched him on the stand, they were spot on. He could tell you what Amber Heard was wearing in 2015, 2016. He could tell you what she wore, what kind of hairstyle. They got so desperate to try to discredit him, they would be like, okay, well, what was she wearing? And he would describe it. They'd be like, okay, well, how was her hairstyle? He would describe it. Then they would be like, okay, what jewelry was she wearing? I mean, that's how ridiculous it got. Because they couldn't discredit him. So anyway, he says, I arrive 9:30, met a friend. We proceed up to my apartment, which is in Penthouse 2 on the top roof or floor. We then proceeded to round the corner of the hallway. We stopped in front of Penthouse 1 because there was a large spilt puddle of wine. All right? You see that description? It's puddled. So it's on top of the carpet, no sinkage. Large puddle of spilt wine, along with splashed wine running down the wall. So it's still in process moving down the wall. Now remember, all of this stuff, if we go back, excuse me, I had to take a drink. If we go back and we look at when this incident transpired, okay? If we check on when Johnny Depp's leaving the building. So that video, I guess it was a good thing to add that video in. I wasn't even thinking about adding that video in, but if we add that video in, okay? The incident with Johnny Depp, the timestamp on that, So you get your time period, okay? So we're talking what, an hour, about an hour from when Isaac Baruch says he sees it. I mean, when you think about this, okay, no matter how their setup works, if they say they took it at 9:04, or we take Isaac Baruch at his timestamp away from this, we're talking about what, 8:30? So they're saying that when they took the pictures, we had already had wine spillage that had been setting for almost 40 minutes. And then on top of that, you have Baruch come in. He's saying that I saw it at 9:30 and it's still wet. It looks like this right here. How does that happen? How would wine not absorb into the carpet for over an hour? How's that going to happen? I mean, we're talking about, again, we have timestamps on that stuff. How does the wine never absorb into the ground? And more importantly, how does the wine never stop running down the walls? Because if you've ever thrown liquid on a wall, you know how that works. You throw it, it runs down even slowly. It's going to make its descent within 5 to 10 minutes, right? How does that happen? Snow wants a refund. Thanks for that too there. Amber's really Chuck Norris kicking turds. Gross. Yeah, John Crump, thanks for the 5 there. She almost can't be trying to sabotage herself more if she was trying. She's so done for it. You know, it always, remember though, it's always in how it explains. Like I can sit here and I can explain this to you and I can make it make sense. And hopefully the people who explain this to the jury, they can make this make sense. But you don't really know how all of that's going to come together. Hopefully, like I said, they make the same points that I'm making, and they make them very well, very articulately. And I'm sure they can do that. You've got to remember, when you're talking to jurors, you got to treat them like they're the dumbest people on earth, because maybe one of them is. Maybe 5 of them are. You never really know. You never know that their level of grasping this. They may be bored. They may be half-ass paying attention. So I think you can make this really make sense with that. And then, but I don't know how far down the rabbit hole they go with it. I think they should. I like Car. Nightmare. Thanks for the 2. Justice for JD, indeed. This is injustice is what we're looking at here for sure. And like I say, there is no way that the wine departure on there, like he said, it's puddling, running down the walls. So if you look at the pictures that are provided in that, again, I mean, if you look at it, it's wet, it's nasty, it's there, but more importantly, look at where the wine is. So you have some of the wine that is still running. Right here, you look at the bottom part, for example, that's still running. It hasn't made it to the baseboard yet. It's creeping along. And some of this is just now starting its descent. Like some of the bigger portions, you could tell that they have just now started blotching up and running down. What I think happened personally is I think that Isaac Baruch was not expected to walk in. They thought they were controlling the scene because they pretty much own everything around it. They thought they would go in, they would set up something in the hallway because they don't have any proof whatsoever. Again, they had one broken freaking wine glass. They weren't expecting a second set of officers either. So they start setting this thing up. They want to take their pictures because they control the crime scene. JD's left, and they're not going to sell the place for months. So all you've got to do is change the timestamp features on what you're doing. I mean, that's all you have to do. You change up the timestamp features, and you're good to go. They don't sell, though, until, I think it's September is when it comes up. So they have complete control of that entire place. They can film, they can do whatever they want. With her being by herself for large portions of that, and a lot of the setup is almost exactly the same. Like if you go in and you look at pictures that were taken at other times, you'll find that they're almost identical. And you see this, you know, there are other times when metadata comes into play where you do have strange discrepancies, not from like this incident per se, but say, okay, there's one incident, for example, where you have her taking pictures that are supposedly showing her with damage to her face. Now, these pictures, you can look at them all together and tell there's supposed to be a sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Well, one of the pictures actually has a different stamp on it. It's the same sequence of pictures, but it's listed as taken, I believe, the next day at a different time. So they messed up the metadata on it. Because you can tell that they're monkeying around with the metadata. You can absolutely tell it from some of their breakdowns. That redhead chick, Nick, thanks for the 5 there. If that's damage from a Psycho Rampage, I'm living with 2 small Godzillas. Exactly. It literally looks like somebody walked through and just tipped it. Honestly, there's no damage. Like for the inside of the place, if you were to remove that one glass that you dropped on there, and it was only the base of the glass, and again, if we're nice about it, a piece of glass over the corner, if that's all that you have, like you're saying from a Rampage, where you can salvage a wicker basket from damages, and even more than that, this is somebody that has taken pictures of so many different things. You're going to tell me that they wouldn't sit down and they wouldn't take pictures of the destroyed house? I mean, that makes no sense to me. They took pictures in 2013 of a tiny bruise on their arm. They were writing letters to themselves throughout this. Although, right, Nick Ricada brought up a very good point about that. If they're monkeying around with metadata, it'd be very easy to monkey around with the settings on your emails, you know, because, again, they could have just gone in, and they do have access to people like a certain Rocket Man, for example. I mean, they have access to people that they could either bring in professionals or they already have access to professionals. They could do this at the highest level of it. So it'd be very easy. Even if they didn't know how to do it, they have access to people. And those people, they were utterly obsessed with them. And you can tell. It would further, be fascinating to find out that something like that happened, because the people that would be involved, that would explain like a large hold on some people, because they would be also part of a criminal conspiracy. How does the wine stay in the bottle that broke into the apartment? It would have all spilled in the apartment. Where'd the bottle go? Like, there's my question. Wait, where did the bottle go? Nobody accounts for it. They never talk about how they threw the bottle away. During all cleanup or anything. They have him walking down the hall swinging this thing around like a bat. And nobody finds it. We have video of him, though, again, leaving. He's got his bodyguards with him. He doesn't have it in his hand. Where'd it go? Like, that just sticks with me when I look at that video. Where did the freaking bottle go? There's just a million different points of light. And when they're shined on this thing, what you notice are all the flaws in the story. Like, I can't get past the level of flaws in this story. I mean, they disturb me. They absolutely disturb me. I'm pulling up another incident, because, like I said, I want you to see, like, there are a lot of breakdowns. Just to say, I mean, there are a lot of staging breakdowns. There are a lot of metadata breakdowns that show you that there is something wrong in the metadata from a lot of this stuff coming together. There's a lot of questions about other forms of metadata too, even from that day. Like, the assumption that other metadata is right is also kind of inherently flawed. But I mean, if you look at when their other pictures are taken, I think a lot of, they were taken around 9:30 that night too. So when the wine spillage stuff comes up, I think that would make more sense. If you were talking about metadata manipulation, I would think that would make a lot more sense. There's actually a very good breakdown of the metadata problems in this entire case, not just like one or two things, but the entirety of the case. And I'm pulling up some of that because I want to show you a couple of the weird metadata issues, because you can tell that there's a problem. All right, here's a good one. So here, if you want to see a metadata, you want to see a real screw up on their metadata manipulation. Here's one. In these pictures right here that are supposed to show damage, you can tell like all of these pictures are supposed to be, they're of the same setup. You can see the books in here and all of that in the background. Well, in these pictures here, though, you have a single photo that jumps a day. So with these are from a day before, right? This is from the day after, according to the metadata. But if you look at the pictures, they are lined up here. Look at this. By gridding, you can tell that these are the same picture, only one of them has been landscaped and the other one is taken in portrait. Because if you line them both up, they're the exact same items in the background, the exact same person. They just have a different filtering effect and a portrait lineup effect. So what she did is she screwed up. I'm sorry, it was 2 different days. Like, it's 2 days away. So one of these was taken accidentally on the 16th and the other one on the 18th. But if you look at them, you can tell it's from this sequence of pictures here. They monkeyed around with the metadata on them when they were taking them because they have unfettered access to all of these places where they can take them, and they screwed up on one of their dates. They hit the wrong button. They didn't catch it because they weren't paying enough attention. But one of these, like I said, in this sequence where you can tell that it's the same background, same shirt, everything is exactly the same, only it jumps 2 days with metadata. I mean, there's proof that that is a byproduct of flagrant manipulation. That catches you in the moment, but hey. It's Scott Wiggum. Thanks for the additional 20. Appreciate that. I felt that cases like this set actual DV victims back. Yes, very much so. And quite rightly highlights the ease which a person's reputation can be destroyed by lies. We live in sad times. It is. You know, when you talk about this, there are a few things that come up that are sad, because you have the false accusations which create a victim. On top of that, people that are survivors, they've gone past, or maybe, first of all, maybe victims and survivors would be, because the way as a mental health therapist, I work in mental health. So the way I look at those two words, a victim is somebody that is still in that moment. They are perpetually, it either happened or they are perpetually stuck in that moment. They never move on. They are still a victim in that moment. A survivor, it is embedded in the core of who they are, because you can't ever get past these moments. You know, if you have somebody violate you to a level that it's beyond anything ever experienced, it's going to establish itself in the very core of who you are. But you continue to move forward, you're now a survivor. So I think it impacts both victims and survivors, and it creates more victims because of false accusations. So it's sad all around. I definitely agree. A la carte nightmare, thanks for the 5. A giant bottle disappeared. Depp Houdini. Yeah, maybe he should do a movie over that. You know? I mean, he could do magic tricks like that. Man, that's amazing, right? Zero Depressive, thanks for the 10 RON. She thought they were going to do the CG. Celtic Warrior Poet, hey, what's up? Thanks for the 5. Tug, JD's team needs to know this fact. The elevator footage of JD leaving. Yeah, actually, I've brought that up to sources about the footage of him leaving, it being faster than it should be. It seems, I told them 1.5 times speed. You know, that source. That's what I told them. But yes, I did bring that up after people brought that up too. I should have mentioned that in the thing, because if you look at the way JD is moving around, here, let's bring that up again, actually. Let's bring it up, because I saw a lot of people talking about that. And if you look at the, give me a second. I mean, I gotta fast forward it all the way there. If you look at his movements, they're way too fast. Like, he seems like he's, you know, he's on the lightning pole here. Give me a minute. Here we go. So this is the move. Now watch how fast he moves in this too. Like when he's moving, like when he sets things down, for example. People were saying that this is sped up. So I mentioned that for maybe, to sources, maybe an expert could look at that and see exactly what's going on with it. If there's any kind of speed discrepancies in that or anything else. I also wonder, once you've already established that into the record, does what does that do too? JWOT, thanks for the 2 there. Is JD's attorney communication with our community at all? I don't know. I have no idea. I do not confirm nor do not know. I have no idea about that. if they need some kind of information that needs to go to the team, there are people that could give it to them. Let's just say it that way. All right? Because you have to be very careful. In a trial, like, the attorneys could communicate with other people or sources. The one thing that cannot happen, that absolutely cannot happen, are witnesses talking to anyone. So witnesses cannot discuss that, and that's fine. You know, I don't think I'm trying to think if I've ever even, like, had instance to really run across any of the witnesses in this. But the witnesses definitely have to stay out of communication about the case at all. But yeah, I mean, the lawyers could talk to people and stuff. But, I mean, like I said, there are sources that can get things to them. We'll go with that, you know. But with the case, here's the thing, too. Here's the thing. With the case already going on, most of the things that are brought up, unless it's a correction with something or they're strengthening an argument that they're bringing up, most of this stuff, they've already decided how they're going to go forward with it. They're, you know, we're in the courtroom. If they're still, now I firmly believe that the things that came up about Eve Barlow, they were strengthened by people bringing this stuff up. When we were bringing them up in videos, when we were talking about all of this, I'm pretty sure, let's just say it that way, I am pretty sure that was strengthened because, you know, again, pictures that were taken, I turned over plenty of pictures to sources. I know that we provided, you know, as far as footage, I'm not saying provided to people, but we, when we were breaking down what Eve Barlow did in the moment, we provided a lot of things that they probably would not have seen. Now, from what I understand, there was a witness in the court that saw what they did. Give me a second, I gotta clear my throat. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. But there was a witness in the courtroom that saw what happened. And further, there was a witness in the courtroom that saw what evidence was provided. So I guess they have a damn steel trap of a memory because they saw the evidence that was utilized to kick out Gina Deuters. And they saw where it came from because Eve Barlow handed a phone. She hands a phone through, well, let me bring up what we have while we're discussing this. It just makes it easier to bring up what we have. Like when you look at, give me 1 minute. I gotta find the library for all this stuff. So when you look at the incident from that day, you'll find that she's sitting there, she's staring around. She's been using devices throughout the entirety of the trial too. So it's not like any of this stuff is something brand new. Here we go. All right, I'm going to pull this from again. There's a Legal Bites clip. It's easier to look at from there. But if you look, we've already had the handoff of the phone. So, I mean, this is already in motion. 1 minute, here we are. So we already had the handoff of it because he's already got it in his hand. But according to court source, somebody around there, they 100% saw the handoff of the device. So they knew that transpired already. I mean, they 100% saw it. I wasn't paying attention to it when it happened because I was listening to Gina Deuters talk about everything. I wasn't watching the court myself. I didn't notice anything until the aftermath. And then we went back and looked at it. But he's already had the device. Again, she handed it through. They've been passing notes and all kinds of other crap. I want to know what Amber Heard passes through this, too. You know, nobody really brings up the fact that Amber Heard passes like a note or something. You know, actually, let's watch the whole thing. I don't remember if it... You know, see, he looks over. He's looking at this phone. She's been in communication. Amber Heard has been in communication with Eve Barlow throughout it. She looked very, very happy with herself too during this entire mess too. But I mean, the entire legal team, they've managed to get themselves involved. Can you imagine interrupting the court? Like Amber Heard passed something during all of this that was transpiring too. She passed it earlier though, because I think JD's freaking face says everything in the moment though. Look at this. He's like, they just screwed me. They absolutely have screwed me in this moment. I'm not going to get a trial that's fair. But that's why she got kicked out of the courtroom. I mean, what a mess. A la carte nightmare. Thanks for two. Look at the elevator numbers. Are they moving? Yeah, with the footage there, I'll probably upload that into something as well to talk about it. From One Phantom, thanks for the 5. Wasn't that after finding out about the poop incident? He was angry after talking to the manager and seeing the pictures on the elevator. Yeah, the incident. So the last incident, incident 14. Yeah, it brings everything in. I mean, this is going to be incident 13 is when the poop happens. It happens in the aftermath of that. He had already heard about it, but yes, he talks to Kevin Murphy on the phone. Io Tillett Wright has supposedly been on the phone as well. There's some back and forth, Amber Heard alleges some horrible things. JD's like, yeah, they set me up in this. They tried to make it look like I did something horrible. And I had to get out of there, So they allege all these crazy things. And they set him up in the moment. I mean, what a setup, too. What an interesting quandary as well, not to have all of the video footage that you got around there, all of this stuff. Nothing catches anything, though, right? Nothing can catch anything. Not one out of all of the, incidents. Yeah, well, they call them incidents. They call them, there are 14 quote-unquote incidents. Yeah, that's how they describe the times when something supposedly happens. She details 14 of them, and some of them are just insane stories. Snuggle wants a refund. Thanks for the 5. Amber is at home. Foreskin caught in the zipper. Scott Wiggum, thanks for the additional 20. I think it's for sure worth a revisit soon about how the timeline, allegations, and court quotes play, along with the handbook of how to destroy a man or whatever it was. That's it. Yeah. Going back to one of your previous video. Yeah, there's a a book called Destroy a Man Now. It's called Damn. You can buy it on Amazon. Again, it's the handbook of how to take down a man. It talks about how to take allegations, how to leverage them, and how to destroy a person's life. And it is the Amber Heard playbook. It is exactly what she did. What's amazing about it is it takes allegation, it takes amplification, and it takes a lot of time men to push it forward, saying they're well-meaning, well-intentioned. You have to have that power that be push it. And that's absolutely, they played it just like this is. And it how many lives have to be destroyed? Even after this case. What sucks with this case in a lot of ways? There are people out there that I see that have a problem with this, but they'll talk about another case. Let's take Manson, for example. They'll look at Manson and they'll say, well, Manson had more accusers. So? Do you think number of accusers? Do you think that gives you more validity? No. No. It doesn't mean anything. You can have more people jump into that and say, and you have people that are otherwise in the right about something. They're spot on about this most of the time. They're absolutely wrong in situations like this. Oh, what a mess, though. I want to mention something, by the way. I'm going to put a link in the description. Let me put this in the description. I'm going to bring this up. So my artist that works with me on my books, he is going to be doing his own project soon called Hammer of Witches. Now, Hammer of Witches, this is just a sign up for it. So it's going to be a 64-page graphic novel. He's going to put together, again, this is just a sign up. So sign up for it. Again, it won't cost you anything to sign up for it. And when you sign up, again, you'll get an update that it goes live. It may have something that goes with it. I'm not sure, but it just gauges how many people might potentially be interested. The guy who does all the work with me, though, S.K. Bennett, he's going to be doing his own thing. He brought this up to me today. I put a link in it. Definitely sign up for it because, I mean, he's a talented creator. So I want people to check out that sign up. Again, it's free. You're not going to get charged any money for signing up. And I think it'll be fun. You know, again, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, and it has secrets. But does she fear the devil or praise him? Da-da-dun. Again, I think it'll be fun. I think you can enjoy checking it out. And his work is just off the freaking chain. He just turned in a brand new page today. I'm going to show that off. But yeah, I can only take so much of this stuff in every day. I look at this and I keep thinking, what in the insane, or like, does it never end? These people never stop. And you know, the answer to that is no. They never, ever stop, you know? They never stop. So I can't believe, I'm always afraid of the injustice that'll come with this. Like, you know, there's the level of injustice. Like, does that ever stop? Like, will you see, at some time or another, will you see justice finally served? And I hope so. But God, it doesn't feel like it, does it? I guess I have to look at it, like what I have to do is, like somebody was asking, do you burn out on that? Yes, I burned out on this case a bunch of times in the past. Hey, here's a brand new page from the thing while we're talking, from our book. Again, if you haven't backed that, I'll throw a link in the description in a second, but check this page out. This brand new, hot off the presses. Look at that. So we got something going on. So the little umbrella girl, she looks feral. Look at that. Look at that artwork, though. Boom. I love it. I love that page. I love his work, though. I love his detailing. That's our brand new page, though. But anyway, I think I'm feeling the end of this today. I thought about, like I said, I'm going to put this stuff into a video. Oh, I forgot to bring up the doxing weirdo. No, wait, I did bring that up. Okay, so I guess we're good today. We're good. Tomorrow we'll have a breakdown, I'm sure. There's also one other thing, actually, that does need to be brought up. Tomorrow, I'm hoping that this gets remedied. The New York Post doxed 2 Johnny Depp supporters. I'm sure you've heard about that by now. They won't redact, they won't take it down. They've kept up the docs for them. So I'm going to follow that up tomorrow. If the New York Post refuses to do that, I want a lot of people making noise. Because they're 2 private citizens that have had their lives aimed at, and they may be destroyed because you have Eve Barlow and this other person, Christina Taft, that are sitting in the courtroom at the time, digging through every social media post they ever put up. They found something that they could get them excluded for in 2016. It was a dumb post. It said something about, I'm going to use the word Minecrafting, a certain Aquaman starlet, one of them, very dumb post. But regardless, how do you find that? How do you find it? Because you have a crazy person sitting in there doing damage. And beyond that, when they're asked to leave, okay, fair enough. If they want them out of the courtroom, I mean, I guess that's that. But then the New York Post has their names leaked to them. The New York Post decides to put their entire names in there, which could destroy their lives. All because they attended a trial, because they thought a guy was innocent in something. Like, you think like that should have some follow-up. Bad vibes, thanks for vibe. Question, Amber, are you wearing heavy makeup? Have you been beaten by Eve Barlow? True that. From what Adam thinks for the 10 there, how will we cope if AH is found not guilty? How can JD survive? The problem's going to be this. How does a court define domestic abuse? How does a jury, rather, how do they define that in this day and age? What is it defined at? And at any moment in there, like for example, when the therapist gave testimony, the therapist in their testimony in, what was it, I'm not counting the jury selection. I'm not counting that as a day one or anything because it didn't kick off that day. So I'm going to say day 2, right? In the testimony of that lady, she says, no, I'm sorry, that was day 3. She says that Amber Heard told her X, Y, and Z, that she made inference because she said that she thought that there was abuse given Amber Heard's statements. But she took one statement from Johnny Depp and she drew inference. If it would be like you telling me, you telling me that, like a partial disclosure, and I say, well, the reason you made that disclosure is because of X. I don't really know that. I don't know the meaning. So he said she gave as good as she got. Now what does that mean? Does that mean, again, they argued verbally? Does that mean hands-on? Like I was saying the other day, does that mean like, when they got in an argument, they both pulled out stripper poles, and JD, he would get up there and he would show off, he would shake his butt sexually, and she would be like, no, slam, it's on. Or maybe they had rap battles. I don't know. Like, you don't really know. I mean, obviously those are stupid answers, but you don't know. You don't know what's going on in the privacy of their own homes. And especially when Amber Heard is the one typically filling in all the blanks. You know? Amica Turd. I love it. That's actually a perfect name. She should be called Amica Heard. I don't know why I'd be calling her that. That's a beautiful name. Amica Heard. Snuggles wants a refund. Thanks for the 5. Amber competes in men's NFL by padding her uniform with poop. Gross. I mean, seriously, though. I mean, I never thought about Amica Heard. That's really funny. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's a good one. And by the way, if you want an Amica shirt, do not miss out on those. We have three shirts for this thing, though. But I like this one. I like the fact, like somebody was saying, they were talking about the text thing. Like I said, I left it in there because I thought that was funny. Because they can't even come up with their own thing. So I'm going to put that in the thing. But if you get one, like I said, all of the proceeds to that, there are actually 3 shirts that have some kind of justice thing to them. But I think this is funny. I like the Amica cream. I think that's really hilarious. And all the profits, not proceeds, because I don't control the, one half of it. But whatever comes to me, that'll go to a children's hospital. Because it'll go to local. Because I think that's funny. Because she needs it. And they deserve it. Kids deserve it. Sarah Horseshoe, thanks for the 5 there. Thanks for all you do, Tug. Thanks y'all for coming in. I mean, I ramble for a few hours. I talk about this case. You know why I talk about it? Because I try to work out things in my mind, too. Because there's so many different things that are floating around here. Did you see, for example, yesterday, did you see someone post about how Amber Heard flew them out to the Kavanaugh confirmations and went and learned their names? Did y'all see that? If you did, let me take a shot of these for you, okay? I thought this was kind of interesting because you hear throughout the trial that Amber Heard doesn't like the plebs, right? She doesn't like you normal folks out there. If she had to work with, like Gina Duders was saying, when Amber Heard met her at first, she didn't really matter. Gina Duders didn't, because she has no power over the companies that they're part of. So she outright ignored her. Because of course she did, Give me 1 second, though. So I'm saving these two in because I want you to see them. But yeah, there was so apparently when they say she flew people out, I wonder if they mean like I wonder if they mean the organizations that she was working with, because that's kind of the way, I don't know, I would take that. Here's one of those. Give me 1 second. I got one other one to pull up. There's 2 quotes off that. I'm looking them both up. But yeah, she had connection. I thought this, like I said, was interesting. I'm taking a screenshot of the other one too. I have to take screenshots of both of them. The stupid thing is with Twitter, I don't know what it is with freaking Twitter, but with Twitter, they don't. There we go. I got them both now. Twitter, for some reason, when you go to save pictures, it'll save them in weird formats, and the format is hard to adjust from Twitter. So here's your story. I don't know if you've heard this before. I often recall how Amber Heard paid to fly me and other survivors to D.C. for the Kavanaugh confirmation. Now, I believe that this was probably done on behalf of the ACLU. That's how I'm going to, and again, not getting political in that, but doesn't that irritate you when an organization, again, they take donation money and they say that they use that for the betterment of domestic abuse survivors. So they got all of these people together. Amber Heard is the one that helps put that together. And she says, I'm not going to learn your names. She tells the people bluntly, I'm not going to learn your names. After I spoke at the rally, though, she was at the end of the stage, wrapping me in very unwanted hugs and trite platitudes. So she went from, I'm not going to learn your name, to, oh man, I love you. I love your power. I love what you have to say. Yeah. I tried to let it go because I understand she'd been through something and maybe she needed that moment, but I don't know. It stuck with me as I've been watching lurid details of her and JD's marriage spill into the public eye. I guess you could say a lot of that trip did. Huh. Now, I thought that was just kind of a fascinating thing because, again, you had Gina Deuters saying that this is the same person that told us that, well, she wouldn't make eye contact with me because I wasn't high enough position in the company. She didn't feel like I mattered. You know, JD mattered. My husband, Stephen Deuters, mattered, but I didn't matter. So I thought that, like I said, I thought that was a fascinating disclosure about the mindset of a certain Aquaman starlet. And I'm not surprised by that mindset either. The ACLU is going to look really bad after Virginia. You know what, though? Like, most of the people that fund this, it's just like people that sit around and they continually talk about Elon Musk and how he's going to save your free speech and stuff. Elon Musk, first of all, is not going to do that for you. He's going to protect his speech, but he's probably going to shut down anyone that speaks out against anything he's done. He's done that in the past, so why wouldn't he do that again? And he is a heavy backer of the ACLU, which I don't care which side of the political aisle that you sit on. Myself, I don't like either side. You'll see me complain about the insane, quote-unquote, woke culture these days because it permeates entertainment. But you know what? Both sides of the aisle can be equally insane. And if you see life through a lens with one party, then it's like closing one eye and never really looking at life. Like most of us, you know, we're talking about international world issues, and these issues are so much bigger than that. But the ACLU believes in shutting down free speech from the side of the political aisle that they fundraise against. And I don't believe in that. I believe that either side should be able to speak. Maybe you don't like what they have to say, but that's their right to speak. And if the ACLU if they're doing that, they're not going to protect your free speech. So all these people that are shilling for Elon Musk when he's one of their biggest donors, yeah, they need to. This guy he memes a lot, so therefore, it just kills me. It's really funny too. I've been watching the Amber Heard supporters turn on Elon Musk a lot. And that's really funny considering in the trial, Amber Heard's own lawyer admitted that he had paid a large percentage, like a $500,000 payment to one of the two charities. He was one of they were saying, well, they got their money. I mean, look, he paid, which again, that's not where the money was supposed to come from. It's supposed to come from her. But it was fascinating to see them admit that Elon Musk, I mean, he paid out high hundreds of thousands. When you combine all of the money with other stuff, God knows how much money he paid out. It may not mean anything to him, but it's just fascinating. He's underwriting this case. In my opinion, this case is paid one of two ways. It's either paid by Elon Musk himself, or you have an insurance underwriter that's attached to it. There was a lot of discussion about the possibility of a settlement. There was just this noise about it. Again, I'm not saying that came from anybody that matters. I'm just saying there was noise about that. I don't think that the people involved would necessarily want to do that, but I think if there was an insurance company involved, they would have wanted to settle, because insurance companies don't want to pay the kind of money that we see. So it's either paid for by one or the other. She can't pay for this trial. There's no way in hell she paid for this stuff. There's no way she is fronting this bill. It's absolutely no way. It's either funneling through the ACLU by Elon Musk. Elon Musk is directly paying for it, or an insurer is paying for it. Again, it's something in that. But it's really funny to see Amber Heard supporters have been turning on Elon Musk. They were going at him hard lately because, a lot of those folks in real life, well, it's interesting anyway. I'm shocked by how many people can't, people do that anyway. I mean, that's just how people are. They see individual things that they're like, oh my God, and therefore. But it's funny, like I said, they're hardcore, like her supporters, but they'll attack him. And they would do their best to shut him down if they could, get him banned. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the really crazy ones that do bot attacks and stuff, they've been botting a lot too. So I was watching one of my videos the other day, and I noticed that it had I don't watch the YouTube launch page that often. I watch it through my my YouTube studio, and it only tells me about hits per minute. It doesn't tell me about other things. But I was watching one of the videos, and I noticed right when it came up, the dislike ratio just went through the roof. I was like, what the hell is going on with that? That's weird, Like, and I was watching it go up. Like, typically, I get somewhere between 9 to 20 something dislikes, just depending on it. They're always there because of the people you pick up. They just hate what you do. They always dislike what you do. And that's fine. But I watched it go up, like right when it started, it was like 10, 20, 50, 70, 85. I was like, man, and people hadn't had time to watch the video. So I was like, what the hell is going on with that? Then I watched the numbers start to drop off. 10 would disappear, then another 15, and then they would add, and then it would subtract. And by the end of the video, it only had 13 dislikes. That means it was being botted. Somebody was hitting it with a bot to dislike the video. And that had to be Amber Heard supporters. There's specific ones that have a really an infatuation with bot use too. So I guess I just found that interesting. But anyway, all right. Well, hey, I'm going to call it here. Again, you want to have some fun? You want to pick up our shirt? I think that would be cool. I'm going to have me one of these Amica cream ones myself. Again, link is in the description. Check that out. All profits go to a kids charity, I'm going to say. And on top of that, like I said, check out this sign up. Again, you're under no obligation to pick anything up from that. Sign up, but see what comes. If you like the artwork on my project, you'll love it's the same person. He's going to be storytelling. He's going to be doing everything. He's a great storyteller anyway. He's a great artist. You'll love the project. So sign up for it. Boost that and make sure everyone sees it. But anyway, I'm going to end here. I appreciate you. We're going to go at it tomorrow. So be up bright and early. We're going to have another one. And I'll drop a video too at around 8 a.m. I'm planning in the morning. That'll be an hour before the trial kicks off. So keep your eyes out for a video too. But anyway, I'm going to end here. Oh, let me play some Sexy Toast, of course. Before we do that, let me end us out with that. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without sexy toast. Man, gotta love that sexy toast. All right, well, I will catch you folks on the flip side. Appreciate the heck out of you. And until next tomorrow, I'll leave this up to you. We will see you, though.